The madmen have only gone and done it again, so let's look at it. Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, and today we are going to talk about the new series of headless guitars, the Quest series from Ibanez. Now, these guitars actually leaked 3 months ago, and I didn't really want to cover it back then because I had a little bit of inside information as to some of the things that were coming from Ibanez, and it didn't feel right to confirm something that I knew was coming. I've got some of these pictures up on screen now to give you an idea of what these guitars initially were proposed to have looked like. So the entirely new headless experience. And today, yes, Ibanez have finally announced that they are releasing headless guitars. Now, I am a big fan of headless guitars. If I turn like this, you'll see I have an Ormsby Goliath there. I have a Ibanez Hydra over there. Stunning instruments. I really like the idea of modern guitar design. And when I first got my Ibanez, using that, it immediately became apparent to me how great it is having a guitar with less body, less headstock, if it's something that you're going to have on your body for a long period of time, be that for gigs or in my position where I'm sat at a computer working for a long period of time and I'm using my guitar. Something lightweight is fantastic, and the Goliath in particular is extremely lightweight. It's under 7 pounds, ridiculously lightweight, and being able to just comfortably move that around is something that I'm a big fan of. So when it comes to pushing modern guitar design, I'm not saying that all guitars should be headless, but I'm absolutely saying that there is a place for headless guitars on the market. So I'm going to read now. I'm going to go through the Q series speech from Ibanez, if you like, to give you an idea of what this model, this series is all about. So with new developments in instrument technology, the prominence of more technical playing styles, and players' desire for lighter and more portable instruments, today's headless guitars are pushing far beyond designs of the past. However, even with all these advancements, Ibanez still saw an exciting opportunity in this space. The Q or Quest series is an entirely new concept for Ibanez. The Quest in this case was not just to adapt an existing instrument into a headless design, but to develop an entirely new guitar from the ground up. This range features a number of unique elements intended to maximize tone, performance, and playing comfort. These include custom-designed R1 single coils and a Q58 humbucker pickup, a new monotone bridge, and a proprietary custom string locking mechanism. The QX sub-series is also equipped with innovative 8-degree inward slanted frets, uniquely tailoring their ergonomics to the benefit of highly technical players. Ultimately, this series offers a diverse and versatile enough feature set to attract not only the modern technical guitarist, but also players who have never even considered a headless guitar before. Regardless of genre, Q, the Quest, allows guitarists of every background to question the full scope of their creative possibilities. Sounds like a lot of marketing speak to me, if I'm completely honest, guys, but, you have to sell your product, right? And I think this is a reasonably good way of doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these guitars up on screen for you, and we can talk about them and give you my thoughts on them. Of course, my thoughts aren't really valuable. Some people care what I have to say about things. I'm really just here to bring you the news, of course. So if I bring these up on screen, this is the Q standard. And as we look through this, we have the Q52, Q54, QX52, the QX54 with QM, which is a quilted maple, and the QX 52-7, so it's a 7-string version, PB. So just to give you the basic idea of what these models are all about, if we bring up the Q52 and just scroll through and get a look at some of these pictures, it's essentially a headless guitar design. Now, I have to point out some things that I see as influences from other guitar builders on the scene. The 2 strap pin idea. Some people look at that and they're like, why would you want 2 strap pins on a guitar? This is actually very clever. You see this on Kiesel headless guitars. This means that you can place the guitar down on the floor and it won't wobble from side to side. So they're very effective. It's not that you would use that bottom strap pin. It's for functionality. Very, very cool. Definitely like that. Don't like how close the volume knob is, of course. That's definitely a little bit close for my taste. Generally speaking, a cool looking guitar if this is something that you might be into. I'm not going to go too deep into the specs on this one. I want to look into the specs of one of the ones with the slanted frets, which obviously I have some things to say about. The Q54, same basic idea. Again, available in 2 color schemes. This is seafoam green matte. That colour isn't really represented all that well on Ibanez's page there, but yeah, big fan of the seafoam green look. Again, not entirely sure how I feel about them on this particular guitar design. When you think of a modern guitar design, you think of modern colours, and when I think of seafoam green, I think of vintage guitars. So this is kind of, old meets new. And if that's something that you want to go for, I guess that's something that you can do. Of course, the difference between those being 2 humbucking pickups and a humbucker and 2 single coils. Now we move over to the QX52. So the QX52, if we look at these frets, they're slanted. And it's important to point out that they are slanted. This is not a fanned fret instrument. The scale length of each string is exactly the same. The frets all just angle back by 8 degrees. Now that's really interesting to me. Of course, I've talked about the idea of fanned frets on instruments before, and I take issue with companies talking about it being for ergonomics. Because if it were for ergonomics, everybody would agree. You wouldn't have companies with different straight frets in different places. They'd all agree on the most efficient place to put a straight fret. These aren't quite that. So if I go down and look at the where are we? The slanted frets here. So what they've gone with for their marketing speak is all of the frets are equally slanted at an 8-degree angle. Many contemporary players tend to favour a much higher playing position to execute more effectively highly technical and intricate techniques like tapping, fingerstyle, and even occasional bass-inspired slap riff. This higher position results in the 4 fretting fingers naturally tilting slightly inwards. This 8-degree inwards tilt of the frets perfectly accommodates this and offers a more natural feeling and comfortable playing guitar. So I have to dispute this just a little bit, and the only reason for that is, I play a Telecaster most of the time, and we obviously get around that by the way that we choose to have our guitar. Okay, so we tilt our guitars up often, and this helps us get better access. And I'm not going to dispute them that when we turn our hands, when we play higher up, and our hands do turn, compensating for that and angling those frets back would stop you from having to do this. But there's more to this than just the position of the hands. It's also the position of the arm. This is a comfortable place for us to play. So with these slanted frets, they effectively compensate for you having to tilt your guitar. So you shouldn't need to tilt your guitar quite as much because the frets should meet your fingers. My logic when it comes to things like this is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. 8 degrees is a tiny, tiny, tiny little difference. It's a tiny difference in the grand scheme of things. So not tilting, trying to avoid tilting your guitar seems like a little bit of overkill to me. But of course, I do have to give some respect to Ibanez for this because they are trying something new. Players might absolutely love this, and if they do, who am I to criticize that? I'm not saying that it's not for me. I think what I'm really trying to say here is I'm not sold on it, so I'd need to get one in my hands and give it a try. I'm happy, more than happy to be completely wrong on that one. Happy to hold one of these in my hands and go, wow, that's incredible. I hope every brand does that moving forward. So let's continue. So if we go back and look at some of the fancier ones with the quilt maple top, only available in the Blue Sphere burst matte, but again, functionally the same guitar. Nothing crazy going on with this. Just a headless guitar design. Should probably also mention, appreciate that there's a nice big cutout here for the bridge to sit in, because there's nothing worse than putting your guitar down or sitting with the guitar and having it kind of knock the tuners. I would personally prefer a little bit more of the kind of Strandberg cutout, or the same thing you see on the Ormsby here, because that's where I tend to rest my leg. But, is what it is type thing. And then finally, the QX. So I know there's also a signature model available. Not really anything that I'm particularly into. But yeah, antique brown stained 7-string. Now, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's definitely pretty cool. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this kind of what I would describe as a PRS bevel on the inside of those lower horns. But if that's for you, then absolutely fine. That's absolutely for you. So this is a Poplar Burl top, and of course that's what the PB stands for, the Poplar Burl. So interesting instruments. I'm not entirely sure. Well, it's definitely cool to see some new things. What do you guys think? Would these be the sorts of things that you would be interested in? I've not actually managed to secure prices for any of these yet. That's obviously going to impact how much people are willing to pay for these sorts of things. But are you interested in headless guitars in general? Let me know in that comment section below. Lastly, I just want to say a huge thank you to my wonderful supporters over on Patreon. Could not do these videos without you. I'm in this fortunate position where these guitars leaked in the last 10 minutes, and I can immediately get a video up on it. I can immediately tell people about it because I have this wonderful setup that I've been able to put together thanks to to you guys. And because I'm not out doing a day job, it means that I can get you this news as fast as humanly possible. So thank you for all of your support. If you'd like to check me out on Patreon, you can get a lot of cool stuff in return. Link is in the description. And if that doesn't suit, you can head on over to Amazon and check out one of my books, many available. I'm sure you will find something that you enjoy. Thanks so much for checking this video out, guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, or ideas, let me know in that comment section below. Hit that subscribe button, and I will see you for another video very soon. Goodbye.